Welcome back, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. We are back on the Black Hummer. We have the hood cut so far, the entire roof. And as we go to the other side, we can get to two panels that are an absolute nightmare when it comes to tool selection, because you're going to fill your cart to get them done. We have scratches, we have swirls, we have etching, we have staining, we have everything over here, and we're going to start to take care of them one by one. The first tool we're going to break out is, of course, wet sanding to take care of some of the scratches. 3000 grit. But before we do, let's protect those edges. If you're not comfortable or familiar with sanding or polishing near an edge, just grab some pinstripe taping. We won't count that as tool number one, but we will count the Trizact disc as tool number one. The scratches aren't very deep, all superficial. 3000 grit will be absolutely perfect for them. We're just going to sand nothing measurable, just a little bit of clear coat off to round off the edges, make them look a little bit less hideous. And actually, by the time we're done cutting and polishing, you may not be able to see them at any angle in any light whatsoever. After some experience, you won't have to stop and check your work. You'll know exactly how far to sand down to get rid of those imperfections. But that milky substance, or what looks like soapy material coming from the surface, that is clear coat. As soon as you start to see that, if you're just starting out and not comfortable, as soon as you start to see that, wipe it off, dry it off, and check your work. See where you're going. Keep an eye on the texture. Make sure the orange peel texture is not disappearing. Then you're cutting too far. The only time you want to sand off texture is if you have a custom paint job, you have a show vehicle, and you want to make it perfectly flat like a mirror. All of the wet sanding is finished. We have the ugly scratches taken care of. We can hop on over and grab the rotary and a Lake Country wool pad and proceed with the cutting. And that will take us to tool number two. With clear coat that has this much damage, patience is going to be your best friend. You don't see me throwing around the rotary polisher wildly. I am following the pattern that I want to polish in, but patiently moving the polisher in a timely manner that it is able to cut and get work done, yet fast enough to not build up too much heat in one area. That's a balance you're going to be able to pick up and learn if you have those junk panels that I encourage you to go get. Send them up on horses and practice. Now we run over to the cart and grab our third tool. That's going to be a smaller rotary, the M550 here, and I have a 3-inch backing plate with a Max Shine wool cutting pad attached to it. That fits this panel perfectly. If you're just starting out, yes, you're only going to have one polisher. I recommend something between an 8 and a 15 millimeter throw for that polisher, with a few backing plates that you can switch off, at least a 3 and a 5-inch backing plate. That'll, you're able to be versatile enough to cut a whole car. Just have to be careful on some areas. You're just going to have to use a quarter of the pad to get to it. As you expand your business, or you're able to pick up other polishers, I recommend different size rotaries, a 2-inch polisher, 3-inch polisher. It doesn't matter if it's cordless or pneumatic. Pneumatic's just going to be more powerful. And also maybe the extension for the rotary that will give you backing plates for 1-inch and 1/2-inch pads. Then you'll be versatile enough to take care of a vehicle like this with the pad and backing plate to match each panel perfectly. That will bring us to the fourth combination. And that is the 5-inch extension for the rotary and a 2-inch pad. You can also put a 1-inch backing plate on it, but it keeps the tool back far enough that if you slip accidentally or make a mistake, the tool itself, the rotary, the polisher, will not bump up against the paint, and you'll have to start all over again, or you'll have to fix a deep scratch. It could go through the clear coat, and you'd really be in trouble. This tool works in many areas. I absolutely love it. It's smooth. You could see the extension is milled perfectly, no wobble, no vibration. That will conclude the cutting portion of the correction. Now, all we have to do is finish out. All the imperfections are removed, so we just have a haze to finish down, bring out some depth, some clarity, and that'll bring us to tool number 5. And that's going to be a finishing tool, either a 15 or 21 millimeter throw. It depends on the size of the panel you're working on, and a finishing pad, polish, or liquid combo that's perfect for that clear coat you're working on to finish. We have to finish the pillars, so we can break out the Flex XFE 83-inch polisher and a microfiber polishing pad attached to that, teamed up with 3D1 to do the finish work. For the 7th tool, that's going to be a pneumatic 2-inch polisher, and I'll need that for the ledges here right around the window. That pad and backing plate fits perfectly for those areas to finish off. With that door finished and a cart full of polishers, we can go around and finish the rest of the Hummer. You can see the front passenger side door is still in horrible shape, and the door behind it completely finished, and the 50/50, a huge contrast. With a full trip around the Hummer, the cutting is complete, the finishing is complete. One thing we could have done to cut down the number of polishers is use the rotary to finish as well. However, I wanted to use the dual action polishers to finish and give the rotary a chance to cool down, as there is a lot of real estate to cover with this Hummer here. So yes, we have a cart full of polishers. You saw just how many it takes to get this big beast done. And it's, hey, all we have to do now is break out the IP solution or panel prep, wipe off any residue left behind, any fuzz from microfiber towels, and we're ready to coat and protect. If you are enjoying the content, please be sure to like, subscribe, share the content, hit that notification bell. That'll let you know when we have new videos.